Hey, hello, I'm Pleased. In this video, I'll show you how to use Siemens.Using TIA portal to upgrade the firmware of my S9 1200 CPU. By upgrading your firmware, you can use the new features of your CPU, but also take advantage in security side. Let's start. This is a CPU that I'm using this video. It is a CPU 1212FC with Siemens PLC. When you see the model number with F or see some red table here, then you can know this is a safety PLC. So in here I will tell you a bit more about the firmware concept of Siemens CPU. For example, if you have a project that created by TIA portal with firmware, for example 4.6, but your PLC only have version 4.4 is installed inside, you cannot download the project because your project is a new version. The features may can run in your old firmware. But if your project is created by, for example, 4.4 and your CPU is in version 4.6, you can download it because your PLC version is higher than your project. You can run all the features in your project. Okay, that is a firmware concept in Siemens. But it's just on CPU. For example, if you use Dynamics, the Siemens Drive series, you need to 100% match the firmware version when, or even that you cannot use the net communication between your CPU to Dynamics, your drive. This is something like Compagnie is their concept or their rules. Okay, finally, I'll tell you something about what I'm thinking about this 1200 series CPU. For me, it's a very compact PLC. You see, if you buy this type PLC, you have a digital input, digital output, and some kind you will also have analog in outputs or some special features. And also, I forgot. I remember that the first input can be used as high counter input also. Here is the net port. You can use it as a net real-time communications. Like in case if your CPU have F, you also use safety. But compared to S7500, you see that the size is very big and the memory can extend. What does that mean? If your project using too much memory that you cannot download inside is over the memory that inside your CPU, the solution you can do, you see, you only can buy a new one. But if you use 1500, you can just replace the memory card, that's all. And also for the net communication, S7 1200 only support RT, net real-time protocol, but S9 1200 they support IRT. There also a very big difference between these two type of CPU. Okay, instructions end. Let's start to upgrade our firmware. Let's see you. Okay, now I'll show you how to upgrade your firmware in the S7-1212FC CPU come from Siemens. And as you see now, the CPU is in the run conditions. So first of all, we need to access the CPU now. Open your TIA portal. First of all, I'll show you the version that I'm using. If you want to check your version, go to Help, Installed Software. Then you see your version of TIA portal. In here, I'm using X16. It's not really to care which version that you're using for just upgrade the firmware. You can use with V15, V14, just you like. Okay, so go to here, you see a question mark, accessible device, click it. Okay, here the type of the PGPC interface is PNIE, and the PGPC interface is through the Ethernet interface now that you are connecting to your PC. In here, okay, so start search. Just wait a second. Okay, so here's your CPU. If you cannot confirm, there is a flash LED functions. If you click this, then you see the bulb LED in turn it's flashing. When you check out this box, just a second. Oh, this LED does not flash anymore. And then click the show button. Okay, so now in the left hand corner, then inside the online access folder, there is a PLC.EN is what you are connecting. Then go to online and analytics. Here you can see so many information from your CPU. For example, the CPU short descriptions and this order number and the CPU status as running or stop or something. So now you can go to functions, firmware update. Here is the firmware that you are using. In my CPU now, my version is v4.4.1. So I would like to update it to the latest version. So don't worry, I will paste this link in the end of my video in the description part. Here the Siemens.Us website, and you see the British S7 1200 CPU firmware version 4.5. Here is a order list that show you where can you download where's the link of your CPU's version. Oh, I'm using CPU 1200FC in DC. So I will click here. And here you can find all the versions of your firmware for not just the V4.4, 4.5.2, but just the owner's version like 4.4 or 4.2 something. Just download it. You can see. Okay, here is some zip file that you download. I would like to use 4.05.1. Just click it. Here inside, unzip it. Now there's a fw update.s7s nas7_job.s7s. Go back to your TIA portal. Here, firmware loader, browse. Okay, S7 firmware, and here .upd. It is your file that you need to choose. Choose it. The TIA portal, it's very good. They will automatically define what version that you would like to update. Is that okay or not? So what you need to do now is scroll down, run, press the run update button. Then TIA portal say, would you like to upload the firmware because the CPU comes to stop? Yes. Okay, and just wait around 1 or 2 seconds to let to update the firmware. it's complete. Now it's starting to update firmware. Then you see the CPU is turning to stop. Okay, so now the firmware is activating to on this target to target your CPU. Good. Now the firmware is transferred to the module successfully and activated. That's okay. So now this TIA portal asks you, would you like to start your CPU? Yes. And then you see now the CPU is turning to run. Okay, so we can go to online dynamics again, go to functions and firmware update. You see now the version is the newness, version 4.5.1. Congratulations, you update your firmware in the S7-1200 CPU. Okay, that's the end of my video. If you like my video, please press the like button and make some comment if you want to talk to me or something. Okay, thanks, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.